Yeah, so being in Los Angeles, airplanes are flying overhead all the time, right, Randy?
Of course, always, like now.
Like now, Inglewood, California, planes are flying overhead. And when that happens, then, you know, they can leave lines in the sky and what have you. Um, but I'm
Chemtrails.
chemtrails,
Hmm.
contrails, whatever, they want to call it. Um, the thing about, and airplanes flying overhead right now. But the thing about it is I was in the desert where a lot of planes don't fly overhead, if they fly overhead at all. But there were lines in those skies that day.
Hmm.
I'm in the desert. And then the idea of, I saw a license plate with, 109 on it in the desert. Like, I wasn't in Los Angeles where there are hundreds of cars, thousands of cars, that pass you by and you may spot a car with 109 on it. No, you might come across, one, two, three, four, maybe at most maybe 10 cars, in a day may pass by, and one of those cars had the license plate 109. It was like, um, that led me into the mathematics or statistics. What is the probability of finding a car with that license plate? That's where that led me to wonder about that. Um, but this work of art, it took me 16 years to create it, because over the past 16 years, things have been happening with these numbers whereby they've been making an impression, or leaving me with an impression. And I've developed a relationship with these numbers. As strange as that may sound, that's what's been happening. So much so that when I see these numbers now, I see these numbers and I feel comforted, and I feel like, I'm on the right path. Like, you know, because for my life, I haven't always known, where I'm going to be, and let alone where I want to be. That's more or less, just, it's where God has placed me, and so, yeah, it took me 16 years to make this work of art, because um, 16 years ago I moved to South Korea, and that's when 109, or 109 as I like to call it, started to mean more to me than just my birthday. Because for one, in Korea, 109 is the day on which they celebrate their alphabet, or the Korean alphabet, called Hangul. And that was an interesting experience. But then, so for me to arrive in Korea and to be met with this fact that the Koreans celebrate 109 as, a special day, that was cool, interesting, and it piqued my, curiosity. It also, made me feel comfortable in Korea, because it was related to the Korean language, which I wanted to learn. So I said to myself, that's a motivating factor. Hey, you were born on the day that they celebrate their language. Go out there and study this language, and have no fear, sort of a thing.
아마도 이것은 당신이 이전에 들어본 적이 없는 이야기일 것입니다. 그리고 그것은 아마도 당신이 다시는 듣지 못할 이야기가 될 것입니다. 이 이야기를 들을 수 있는 절호의 기회입니다. 109의 이야기를 소개합니다.
Simpatico. There's a match between myself and the country I'm in. And it was a national holiday. My birthday is a national holiday in Korea, which is awesome.
Wow, of course.
So I didn't have to schedule, I didn't have to really schedule things, because I always had the day off. Like, there you have it. Welcome to Korea. Like, that's awesome. So I found, like, sort of that simpatico, that comforting, that comfort anytime I saw these numbers. In Japan, there is Shibuya 109.
Right.
Which is, they call it Shibuya Ichimaru-kyu. But hey, those numbers are right there. And imagine walking into Shibuya the first time and seeing those numbers and just wondering like, wow, there they are. You know, I felt comforted when I saw those numbers, and to see them in a big city like Tokyo, a capital city, wow, that was impressive.
Ethiopia? Oh wait, am I
Yeah.
jumping the gun?
Yeah, Ethiopia comes, and Ethiopia is very important to the story, but there were so many moments between that where I would see the numbers and then they would leave me with an impression. They would resonate with me. Whether I was flying on an airplane feeling, nervous about the flight, and I would look up, or I would see 109, or I might see the aisles, the numbers on the aisle 10, 9, and I might say, oh, those are my numbers. That might be me imagining or playing with those numbers, but I'll give you an example of what happened to me, whereby I wasn't playing with the numbers. They met me. They found me. I walked into a motel room in the country of Bahrain, and it was a random motel room. All I needed was a cheap motel room to stay for the weekend. We were getting away from Saudi Arabia, and the motel room that I had been given, the keys were handed to me. I went into there. There was a satellite box on top of the television. As soon as I walk into the motel room, there it is, 109.
Wait, so was that the channel, or that was just the number on the box?
Well, right. This was a...
But either way, it's cool.
It looked like the channel. It looked like the channel, because this is not the factory number. This was not a factory number that had been printed on a sticker and it said 109 on it.
Right.
And some other numbers, like a serial number. No. This was the readout. Remember how the VHS or VCR boxes back in the day, they always flashed like 12
Yes.
if you didn't set the time.
Right.
All right. So imagine the number maybe not being the time, but being a number on that little screen, and it flashing like 109.
How random. Wow. Like, that's crazy.
So I walked into this room, and there it was, like, staring at me. And I was like, how did that happen? Because this is a random room that they had available. They gave me the keys. They said, go up. And there, it matched me. It met me.
Like, hello, welcome.
Yes.
You're comforted. You're in a safe place.
At that time, I didn't feel so comfortable. I thought that it was a plant. It was like, oh, man, somebody.
The CIA is after you.
The CIA, the FBI, they want me to know. We know where you are in the world. And then, Ethiopia. I went to Ethiopia, and I was going to the bathroom, and I happened to see the numbers 109 were written on the door near the bathroom.
Wow.
And so I was wondering, like, those numbers were written there. Like, what do they mean in Ethiopia? What is the significance? So, again, it was like, hey, how are these numbers finding me?
Right.
Because the thing about that door and those numbers is that door was on the second floor, and the numbers on the door were already affixed. They were already screwed in, affixed to the door, and it was, I think, 201-202. But someone found it important enough to write 109 on that door.
Was this the second floor?
Yeah. This
So
was
all
the
the
second
numbers,
floor.
all the room numbers began for 2.
All the room numbers begin with the number 2.
But this particular door, this room, was written 109.
And I'm going to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, this is another one of these moments where they're like, okay, we're going to put the numbers right here so he can see. So he knows that we know where he is. Like, that was the CIA or the FBI. Yeah, like, ideas like that were really, they played with me, or I played with those ideas. I'm like, man, something weird is happening, because I can't imagine, those numbers being there because they had to be there. I mean, I just, like, how those particular, it was beyond me.
Wait, so let me just get this straight. So you don't look for these numbers find you.
I don't look for them. I don't look for them at all. I'm not looking. I don't jump in my car and say, where's 109? Where's 109? Where's 109? I'm just rolling down the street and maybe the car that hops in front of me has the license plate 109. I'm like, wait a minute, how'd that happen?
Wow.
Now here's another thing. But I mean, it does happen more frequently in Los Angeles when you have so many cars.
Right.
There are so many cars. But what else? There's another story about, let's see. Right, okay. Right here in Los Angeles, I bought the DVD for my favorite artist. I'm watching it one night, and I discover, while watching it, completely randomly, I was just bored, I wanted some entertainment, I'm watching the DVD, and I noticed that my favorite artist has written the numbers 109 in a painting that he made in 1982. And I jump up and I'm like, wow, that's cool. I need to have that picture. I need that picture to, I need it somehow. It resonates with me because those are my numbers. I see them. So I'm like, yo, let me see that. So I jump up and I grab my phone to take pictures of the video and share the information and say, hey, everybody, look, I found 109, Not that I was looking for it, but yes, I found it. And then I look at my watch as I'm posting this information, these pictures to Facebook, and it's 11:09 p.m.
Wow, but 109 or 109 is within 11:09 p.m.
Yeah. In that time, 11:09, there it is, 1:09. I remember telling Big Mike that story, and he looked like his eyes dotted. He was like, "That's strange."
Right, and to get something over past Big Mike, like if for him to like really be in awe, like that's something. So that was something.
So that's what happened. Those are the moments that have led up. So wait a minute. So the moments that have led up have constantly informed me about these numbers. Like, pay attention to these numbers. These numbers are going to be
Your angel numbers, or like your like protector, like something along that sense.
I didn't get into all of the angel number stuff until 2019. My colleague told me, you've seen these numbers a number of times. Now go to Google and ask Google, what do these numbers mean? And Google told me, oh, these are angel numbers. At the moment I was satisfied, but then I grew less satisfied with that answer because I thought, well, I did a search for other numbers and I thought, oh man, every number is an angel number. That doesn't mean that these numbers are special. And then I continued to find, look for more explanations. And then I found some that really resonated with me, that I really, prefer, that really match, these numbers. But the last thing I'll say is 16 years and sort of recently everything has met a crescendo, has risen, into a crescendo because the seeing 109 on that work of art and then drawing parallels between real events and that work of art, that was completely unplanned, unexpected. And it's like, indeed, there is, indeed, there are things at work here, metaphysical things at work here that that have also been playing a role in my life, metaphysical forces, because it's too bizarre a story. It's too bizarre a way of arriving at or creating a work of art, because I never had the intention of creating it, never had the intention of arriving at this conclusion. I just connected the dots.
Right.
And 109 is not something that I searched for. It's always been just something that I noticed. So that's it.
I know you have many other stories, but that's just, a little brief, something to tell everyone.
Yeah, so that's but that's where we are now. Oh yeah, so many other stories, from things that happened in Colombia to Cuba, Sweden, Ireland.
Wow.
Like moments like, wait a minute, this is freaky, this is weird. Like, wait a minute, I don't understand why I keep matching, I keep attracting these numbers, but it maybe it's not for me to understand fully, or maybe in time, you know. So this is it. This is the story.
That's pretty cool.
That has not been done before. We are misled here because we think of numbers. You don't need numbers. You need passion. And this is proven by the history of the world. The tragedy is that most of the people who say they care about it do not care. What they care about is their safety and their profits.